About 2 weeks ago, I made the first part of the two-part series covering Croatia's rise as a national football team. The video did fairly well, garnering almost 5,000 views, which is more than I expected. The last part covered everything up to the 2018 World Cup, and we've still got the Nations League, the Euros, and another World Cup left to go. Now, I did promise this to come out a lot sooner, but I've had a lot of other stuff I'm working on, and also school's been kind of pressing me, so it's a bit tough. Now, before we begin, if you could consensually smash that like button, it would be highly appreciated. Alright, enough begging, let's get into the actual video. Right in front of you, we have all the people that actually care about the UEFA Nations League. However, I am legally obliged to cover this nonetheless. Croatia, as World Cup runners-up, were in League A and in Group A4 alongside Spain and England. Now, Croatia had some issues at the beginning of this tournament, mainly the fact that Mandzukic, Subasic, Stranic had all retired following the extremely successful World Cup that they just had. Now, it is understandable that at their age they would love to retire it on extremely great height. However, this did leave Croatia with some problems. Considering all that, they still had moderate success, losing 2 out of 4 games, drawing 1 against England, and winning 1 against Spain with 2 goals from Tiniedvaj, including a 93rd minute winner. Now, this laid a solid foundation for the Euro 2020 qualifiers that were soon to begin. And thank God, I don't have to cover the Nations League anymore. Croatia have never had proper success at the European Championships, despite winning 2 medals at World Cups, once a 3rd place medal and once a 2nd place medal. Now, Croatia have already proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with on the world stage, and now they have the chance to prove it on the continental stage as well. Now, their group was fairly difficult, and they did reasonably well, getting 1st place with 5 wins, 2 draws, and only 1 loss to Hungary. Now, this definitely put them in a good mood and gave them confidence ahead of the Euros that were set to start next year. I don't want to cover it. I really don't, but I kinda have to. As you're already well aware, COVID slowed everything down, so in September of 22, by the time that they should have already played out the Euros, they had the Nations League to deal with already. Once again, Croatia were in League A, and they were paired up in Group 3 along with France, Portugal, and Sweden. Now, this would be the point where a lot of cracks would begin to show. They would lose 5 out of 6 matches, and just about stay in the league because of 1 win against Sweden that would save them from that relegation with a single goal on goal difference. Now, sure, Croatia well escaped from the relegation, however, this was not good. The Euros were now set to happen next year, and Croatia had some issues to iron out, and they had to do it quickly. Now, like I mentioned earlier, COVID kind of fucked up the entire international schedule, so they had to play the World Cup qualifiers before they even played out the Euros. They were given a group that looked something like this, and although tricky, for a team like Croatia, it should be an absolute breeze. It would start off with a 1-0 loss horror show to Slovenia. Now, Croatian fans probably weren't too ecstatic about the result, considering that they had a big tournament coming up very soon, and this just wasn't a really good show of strength. Now, they would follow that loss up with 2 wins against teams that were significantly worse than them. However, there was still a lot more to do, and there were no more preparations. Oh, thank God, I can finally stop talking about qualifier bullshit and get into an actual good tournament. And this one I can cover in more details than the other ones in the previous video because I watched these. Now, although it was in 2021, I will still, just like everyone else, call it Euro 2020. Croatia was drawn into Group D alongside England, the Czech Republic, and Scotland. Now, their first match was at Wembley Stadium against England, where they would lose to Sterling's 57th minute goal. There's really not much to say about the rest of the match. except for the fact that I could have confidently just watched paint dry and still had the same amount of entertainment. Now, in other news, at the time, Czechia won their game against Scotland 2-0, in which Patrik Schick would score that goal. Next up, Croatia would have to play the Czech, and that was going to be a key game in deciding who would actually progress from the group. The Czech Republic would be the first team to take a lead following a goal from a Patrik Schick penalty. However, Croatia would make it level through Ivan Perisic in the 47th minute. Croatia once more proved that they can play on the back foot extremely well and chase the game in a spectacular fashion. Neither team really wanted to give up, however, neither team were able to get a goal and it would end 1-1. In the meanwhile, England and Scotland played out the most boring game since the creation of the sport that ended 0-0. This, however, did set up an intense final group stage match up against Scotland. Croatia needed a win to progress, and only a win would be enough. Croatia luckily would bag first, courtesy Nikola Vlasic in the 17th minute of the match. Now, I'm not sure what you thought, but Scotland would not give up that easily, as in the 42nd minute, just on the edge of half-time, McGregor would score to equalize the score again. In the halftime team talks, Croatia would find out that England was already leading against Czech Republic 1-0, and knowing them, they just weren't gonna slip up. Croatia had some work to do, and they would do it perfectly, following a wonder strike from Luka Modric in the 67th minute, and another Ivan Perisic goal that would close it out and kill the game off at last, ensuring Croatia make the knockout stages of Euro 2020. And of course, to no one's shock, England had kept their lead against the Czech Republic and won 1-0. At the end, the group looked like this, with England coming first, Croatia being second, Czechia just having enough points to go through despite being third. Croatia would then have the absolute honor to face Spain in the round of 16. Now, Spain, up until that point, didn't have the best start to their campaign. They had only won one game and drew the other two in the group stage, which probably gave Croatia some more confidence going into this match. I can't do this match justice. I will try, but it will be a horrible attempt, so please do go check out the highlights. I wish I could show them, but UEFA will strike my shit, and I will be done out. 20th minute, unreal own goal. Sarabia would pull one back in the 37th minute, equalizing it for Spain. Then they would bag a second, and then they would bag a third. This would obviously kill the game off, and Croatia would lose. No. Orsic would be the Superman substitute, who would score in the 85th minute, and then Paslic would be the unlikely hero in the 92nd minute to equalize the score and send the teams to extra time. Now, I really do wish I could tell you the story of how Croatia persevered and won this game, but they would concede 2 goals and end up losing it at last in extra time. This was a decent run at the Euros at best, and the media worldwide would start saying that this team was aging and would probably never win anything again. Lol. Now, like I mentioned earlier, Croatia did have minor struggles in their qualifying run. However, the rest would go fairly smoothly. In the next 7 matches, they'd win 5 and draw 2. The 2 draws against Slovakia and Russia made things difficult for them when they then had to struggle at Split on a very wet and rainy day against Russia, with only a win guaranteeing them qualification. Croatia was the dominant side by a mile, but it did look like they might not actually make the breakthrough. But thank the Lord, they did, and it was an own goal that would actually send them to the Qatar World Cup. And now we can finally get to the Qatar World Cup. Fucking psych. UEFA Nations League again. Fuck you. Croatia was paired up in a group with France, Austria, and Denmark. And their opener, wasn't very good, I'm not gonna lie to you. Now Croatia, to a lot of people's surprise, had their cool heads and they would win 4 out of their next 5 games. And the only one that they didn't was a draw against France. This would make them top of the group and would send them to the UEFA Nations League semi-finals, where they're gonna play the Dutch this summer. So that's something to look forward to. Now my script on this part is a lot longer. But I'm just not gonna read it. It's the fucking Nations League, who cares? I'm not an oblivious man. I know exactly what you're here for. And I am gonna give you that. We finally put all that bullshit behind us. The Nations League, 3 seasons, the qualifiers, and I can finally get to the good stuff. Croatia was now set for a flight to Qatar. They did, however, stop at Saudi Arabia, picked up a cheeky 1-0 win in a friendly, and then arrived at their true destination. As you're already definitely 100% already aware, they were in Group F alongside Belgium, Morocco, and Canada. The first matchup was against Morocco, and it was pretty boring. I would say Croatia were the better team, but honestly there was not much of a difference. It was pretty boring, and it ended up 0-0. Now this wasn't great for Croatia, this just wasn't the start that they wanted, but like I said, you've got to keep a cool head, because next up they had Canada, get it? Because like it's cold in Canada and shit. I'm gonna kill myself. Within the first 2 minutes, Canada caught Croatia napping and would bag through Alphonso Davies. Things would then take a turn for the worst for the Canadians. Kramaric and Lavia bagged 2 in the first half, which were followed up by another goal from Kramaric in the second, and later on another goal from Meyer that sealed up a sweet win that was only made sweeter by the comments of the Canadian manager. In other words, Morocco beat Belgium 2-0, by the way, so that's something. The last matchup was against Belgium, and Croatia had a difficult but easy enough task to just have to draw it. Not a win, just a draw. Any form of draw would be enough. A spoiler alert, they would pull it off with Gvardiol being an incredible player, and alongside him we had Romelu Lukaku, who was just incredible and really helped Croatia make it to the round of 16. I'm not sure what Lukaku was trying to do with his finishing. I think he was trying to secure like a lifetime free vacation at Split. I'm not sure, but I think he definitely earned it. Belgium were now out in next to last, with Croatia making it out in second, and to a lot of people's surprise, Morocco were first. In the round of 16, they would have to face a fan favorite, Japan, who had already won both against Spain and Germany so far at this World Cup. Once again, we're talking very scrappy game. However, Croatia, like I said, know how to play on the back foot, and they played on the back foot brilliantly, carrying them all the way to extra time and then taking Japan to penalties. It's unfortunate, as I would have liked to see both teams go at least quarterfinals. However, one team had to lose, and Japan were the ones who lost, with Levakovic doing an absolutely splendid job at saving penalties and ended up being the crowned man of the match. Croatia, once again, were making the quarterfinals. This was very good. However, they would have to face Brazil, where they would obviously lose. No, they win. They won that game. Maybe I'm spoiling it. Maybe this ruins the suspense. But they won that. How the fuck? I had all the reasons to root for Croatia because they kept fucking making me see these Neymar edits on TikTok, and it was getting on my nerves. I was not gonna handle it anymore. Just knock him the fuck out. Croatia would do me and a lot of boys all around the world a massive service. Despite, holding for about 90 minutes, they would concede an extra time. However, Bruno Petrovic from Dinamo Zagreb would equalize the score, sending the teams to penalties. Marquinhos' late miss would be the thing ending it all, and also giving the victory away to Croatia. Also, real talk, I cannot handle when people say that these are undeserved wins. The fuck does an undeserved win mean? But Brazil had more shots, but Brazil was there. Bro, you have to be clinical. This is a World Cup. You cannot miss 20 of 21 chances and then ask for a win. Clinicality is key. Now shut the fuck up. Now that I managed to get all this salt off of me, next up was Argentina. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. Croatia were kind of torn apart there. To my surprise, they weren't really even given a chance at the game. Most people say this wasn't a penalty. Some people say it was. I'm going to have to agree with the people saying it was a penalty, as much as I would have loved to see Croatia fucking go finals again. I mean, man, there's no fucking connection to the ball there. Now, once again, Croatia could have just left with another decent World Cup run. However, like I said before, there was still one more thing left to do. A third place playoff. This is the match that was going to be a direct rematch to the first group stage game that both of these teams played. Croatia versus Morocco, except this time, we were going to have a winner. It wouldn't come easy, however, they would be the victorious side and have another medal to their name. Of course, like I said, you have to crown certain players for their incredible performance, and I think you'd have to just kind of point out Joško Gvardiol and Novakovic as the ones who definitely deserve the spotlight. Now, what's there to expect coming from Croatia now? There is some young talent coming in. This is a squad that's aging, however, very quickly they are phasing out those old players for new young prospects. Some people think this team is going to collapse, that this team won't do very well. However, I still think this team has a future, or at least one for a few more tournaments. Now, this is where you should probably click off if you don't care what I have to say, but I want to thank everyone for the recent support. I've grown a massive amount since making that first part video, and I am just absolutely astounded by it. I don't want to get too soppy now, but I am really thankful. And keep watching. It really helps me out. And yeah, hope you have a good day from the bottom of my heart. And I'll see you. I don't know when I'll see you. I hope I'll see you. I'll definitely see you one day. Now, what's next up? Probably a movie review. Now, I know those get about 4 views each. However, I just have to get this one off my mind, or otherwise I'm going to start screaming. But yeah, alright, for real this time. Bye-bye.